Hi guys and welcome back to Steelers Fan TV. So today we're going to be talking about Tom Barrasso and sort of his status at the Steelers currently, and we're also going to be talking about water polo being picked over ice hockey for BBC. So we'll start off with the Tom Barrasso situation. So at the minute we find ourselves in a situation where our coach isn't going to be here at the end of the season. So, what I'm getting from that is that it could have a bad effect on the team. It could have a real bad effect on sort of how they play and how they sort of portray the games and how they see it, how they want to perform, how they don't want to perform. You know, do they want to put effort in for a coach that isn't actually going to be at the Steelers next season? Now, personally, I wouldn't put the effort in if my coach isn't going to be there, because at the end of the day, you're not out to impress anyone. You know, it's a bit of a lottery, really. It's almost like if you're put into a hat and your name is drawn out, you're going to be there next season, or you're not if your name's not drawn out, and that's what it seems like to me. It doesn't seem like there's any sort of real structure at the minute. It just seems like we're just going to take next season by chance. Now, what we really needed to do is grab next season by the scruff of the neck. Say to Barrasso, we'll give you to August, we'll give you that contract, and you can find these players. But there's rumours that Barrasso does not want to sort of find the players himself. He wants to focus on coaching. Now, if that's true, then we need a general manager and we also need a new coach. Because if one person can't be bothered to do the dirty work and finding the players, then we don't need them at the side, because at the end of the day we need someone who's going to take an example and lead. And when we do get a new leader in, obviously a new coach, then we've really got to knuckle down. Look at where the Cardiff Devils are now. They're streaks ahead. Andrew Lord has done an incredible job for them. Why can't we get someone like Andrew Lord? Like, seriously, who is there out there that's similar to Andrew Lord? They have, I think it's Todd Kelman at Cardiff as well, who's general manager. I'm sure he is. You see, the problem is with me is I don't know much about other teams. I don't know how they're run. And at the end of the day, that's my fault in general, because I haven't done enough research. But if they've got that system going, then they're not going to fail. And it's proved in the last 2 seasons that they are not out to fail. They're out to be the side that everyone else wants to be. And a team that has mirrored the success of the Cardiff Devils is Adam Keefe's men with the Belfast Giants. 2 players used to be player coaches. So Adam Keefe used to be the captain, actually, because it was for the Belfast Giants. I can't remember his name. Derek Walter. I'm sure it was Derek Walter, and he was in captain. Keefe was the man who then stepped up and took player coach role. Coach role, and obviously Andrew Lord has now stepped down as a player to become a coach full time, and they've had the experience. And they have the desire to win. Now, for me, there's 2 types of coach that the Steelers could potentially bring in. And I've mentioned all this in my article, but I'm putting it in a video now. I'll leave it into the article in the description. The Steelers either need someone really old with experience that's going to take the team by the scruff of the neck and say, look, here's how I want you to play. Here's how you're going to do it. Go out and do it. Win something. Or you get a young guy with a general manager. General manager brings in young, experienced players. Young, fast, sort of hungrier players, if you like, who are out to win silverware. Now, what you've got to remember is the Steelers teams in the past have succeeded with experience, and they've succeeded with the older guys such as Wah, Fretter, Nelson, Eddie. You know, the list goes on, doesn't it? You know, the older guys, more experienced. You know, Mark Thomas, for example, Jason Hewitt, Jeff Legui. I could recite names off the top of my head and say that we have one underneath these players who play for the side. Now, what we've noticed this season is a real dip in quality and a dip in leadership. Now, Jonathan Phillips is obviously a leader, but he can't lead on his own. Mark Matheson doesn't seem to be the assistant coach that we all expected him to be, and I wouldn't be surprised if he ends up leaving in the off-season as well. So the Barrasso situation is a bit confusing, because obviously he is still the coach, he's still at the Steelers, but it is really rumoured, and it's almost dead on, that he will not be the head coach, the general manager next season, which is something that I can't understand as to why it's been announced now, because if it's been announced now, it's going to have a bad effect on the fans, it's going to have a bad effect on the players. Personally, I'll be cheering Barrasso to the end because I want him to do well, I want him to prove himself here, but I don't think he can. You know, it's kind of impossible for him to prove himself now that he's now out of this sort of system, because I wanted Barrasso to stay for a good few years because I needed him to sort of show what he can do to British ice hockey, whereas so far I don't think he really has. He's sort of continued the poor job that Paul Thompson was doing, and that's not in a bad way at all. Like, that seems a bit abrupt, but what has he achieved since he's joined the side? Now, I want someone to answer me that question. He's achieved nothing. You know, he's not really achieved... He's not won anything, obviously. But has he really filled you with that much confidence that you're going to go into a Saturday and say, yes, we're going to win this game? No. It's like a 50-50 lottery, you know? Who knows if you're going to win that game? It's like 1,000 to 1 chance. Are we going to? Are we not? You know, you could roll the dice, and I can guarantee that it'd still be as unpredictable as our games on a Saturday and a Sunday. So, that's all I'm going to say on the Barrasso situation. Give him the end of the year. See if he can win the playoffs. If we're going to make the playoffs, and if he doesn't make the playoffs, he hasn't improved on what Thompson was giving us. Because I think the same thing would have happened under Paul Thompson. So, now, for the last few minutes of the video, I want to move on to the water polo scandal that I'm calling it. It's been pretty much uproar in the Elite League about the water polo and how the BBC have chosen to play that over some ice hockey games. Now, hands up if you've never seen water polo. Hands up if you've seen ice hockey. Right, so I can probably guarantee which is more popular. Water polo is not played by many people, unless you live near Ponds Forge. Water polo is a water sport. Since when has Britain been overly involved in water sport? Again, not really. You know, the posh kids from like Eton, they row, you know. They do kayaking. I do kayaking sometimes, you know, it's decent. But who'd want to watch kayaking live? It's a water sport. Water polo is in the same boat, right? And ice hockey. Compare the fan bases of water polo and ice hockey. Seriously. I just really hope that there was some thought process going into this. Compare the fans from ice hockey who watch it compared with the water polo fan base. Absolutely monumentally bigger proportion of ice hockey fans. Maybe in another country, water polo might be big, but in England, I have never seen a game of water polo, and I'm not going to watch it, literally for refusing, because something that gets watched loads of times over the year is ice hockey. Something that is attended at the end of the year by 7,000 Elite League fans that are all basically season ticket holders, going to Nottingham for a weekend, to sleep in the hotels, to see the atmosphere, to drink in bars. Does water polo do that? Do they have like a get together of a few ducks at Ponds Forge or something like that? Like, all go to Bankers Draft, you know? Does that happen? Seriously. Yes, the BBC have put live the final for 2 years running online. Steelers being in it twice, and it got a viewers retention of over 120,000, I think, for the both years. I think the first year might have been about 90, the second about 120. You're telling me that water polo is going to bring in them numbers? Some FA Cup games don't even bring in them numbers. Yet we're going to... You know, yes, people are going to say we have free sports, but it's not quite BBC 1 HD, is it? BBC 2 HD, you know? BBC 4. Just put it on summer. ITV, come and get us, please. You know, give us a little bit in the limelight. You know, we're not asking for much. We're just asking for a little TV deal. We've already got one, but we want one that's better. And as soon as that happens, well, I'll be absolutely delighted. And hopefully one day I'll be able to work for the BBC and say, I did this cover story on an article on ice hockey. Who likes it? I want to be at the BBC commentating on ice hockey one day. Great. Or ITV, you know, one of the big TV deals. I just hope we one day get some exposure. And that's all I'm going to say in today's video, because I could go on for the next few hours. This video failed to mention Lynn Springer, so that's a positive. I'll see you in the look ahead on Friday, and I hope you enjoyed this video. See you later.